Guys, I'm Amaroth and welcome to the first video in World of Warcraft Theory series. This will be sort of introduction, disclaimer, and I will answer a question, why Wrath of the Lich King? So first of all, what is theory good for? If anything doesn't work as intended, you are more likely to be able to tell where is error coming from. So if anything doesn't work, if your client crashes, if your server crashes, uh, with knowledge about the theory, you are more likely to be able to tell where is error occurring and what to do. The second thing, if you want to change or add something, you are more likely to know what kind of files need to be edited and where to look for tutorials. Again, very important thing. So if you, for example, want to create your own new NPC, you will know what to do or where to look uh, for that kind of stuff. And the last thing, you can pick up some tips and tricks from here. For example, realness WTF. Do you think that you know how it works? Uh, it's quite likely that you actually don't. There are some tips and tricks about that, and I will show you them. A few notes about me, they aren't very important. As you can see, I have worked on quite many projects, I can say that I'm quite an experienced developer. However, there is quite a huge variety of things I can't do. So I can't help you with everything. I don't know everything, and I will never know everything. As you can already tell, English isn't my major language, so sorry for that. If you can't understand me, hopefully those presentations will help you. What I can help you with is setting either Windows or Linux server. I mean Trinity Core server, or in general World of Warcraft server emulator. I can compile my own core, however I can't really modify that core, but more about that later. I can help you with my SQL database, with its setup, with its modifying, with SQL, no problem with that. I can help you with DBC. DBC is client and server database, and DBC tables are used nearly for all kinds of things in World of Warcraft basically. I can help you with MPUs. MPUs are modules which are used for doodads, for items, or for creatures. However, I can work with only simple MPUs. There are still a lot of things I can't do with MPUs. When it comes to WMOs are models which are used for buildings, caves, even cities. I can work with them, no problem there. I can help you with WMOs, definitely. When it comes to map editor, there is only one at the moment, and it's Nugget. Uh, I have been working with Nugget for many years now, so no problem there. If you have any question about Nugget, just ask it. Uh, when it comes to expansions, I am Wrath of the Lich King guy only, and I will explain why later. What I can't help you with? Well, definitely with I can't help you with complex MQs which have animations or particle emitters, stuff like that. I can't even make custom animations. I can't modify animations. Some of those things are possible at all. We lack knowledge, or we lack tools. Some of those things are possible. I just can't do that because I haven't learned that yet. Retroporting. What is retroporting? It's exporting content from new expansions and importing it into older expansions. For example, moving Legion trees to Wrath of the Lich King. I can do such things, but when any errors occur, when models start to cause crashes or something like that, or are a little bit buggy, I can't really solve most of such problems. I can't code in C++, and that's a little bit issue. It's a little problem, I'd rather say, because if not all, then at least nearly all server emulators are written in C++, especially the core I'm using. So I can compile server, but I can't modify its source code, and I can't help you with that. When it comes to its user interface, I can't modify user interface very much. So if you want to create your own add-on or modify interface in some way, I'm probably not the best guy to help you out with this. But when it comes to publicly available private servers, I can make a private server running. I can make it publicly available, but such servers are illegal. so I can't really support you in creating such server. You probably understand why. If you want to create any sort of web page for your project, I can't help you with that, and I don't think it's related to WoW modding stuff, so sorry about that. And when it comes to different expansions, Vanilla, TBC, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, Draenor or Legion, I am not working with that expansions. I am Wrath of the Witch King guy only. Now, why Wrath of the Witch King? It's the easiest expansion to modify. Uh, Mostly because of MPQ system, which is on different expansions as well. But in Draenor's, in Warlords of Draenor, there was CASC system introduced, and it's a little bit different system of storing data files. It has been even improved in Legion, and it's getting more and more difficult for us to modify World of Warcraft. So that's one big obstacle here. And another quite important thing, Wrath of the Witch King is quite an old expansion, which means that we've got a big amount of tools available for it. Those tools are old, they are quite reliable most of times. Sometimes they are unstable, but they are more definitely more stable than new tools, which weren't really properly tested yet, and so on. It is also probably the most well-documented expansion. Well, this might not be true. Maybe Burning Crusade or Vanilla is better documented, but it is definitely more. Its documentation is definitely better than documentation of newer expansions. We've got very stable server emulator. Trinity Core for 335A is definitely better than Trinity Core for Legion, let's say. A lot of people, and this is a matter of opinion, but a lot of people think that Wrath of the Witch King was the last good expansion. So that's another reason why you might want to stay on Wrath of the Witch King. Uh, We've got only one finished map editor, and that's Nogit, and that's Wrath of the Witch King tool. It can work with Burning Crusade maps, it can work with vanilla maps, but it can't work with Cataclysm and newer maps. If you want to work on newer maps, you need to retroport them into Wrath of the Witch King, modify them there, and then upconvert them back. This isn't that tedious process, but it still places some limitations. You can't use all features of newer expansions, which renders using newer expansions a little bit more useless. Because of all those reasons, Wrath of the Witch King as it is the easiest to modify is a good place to start for newbies. This is why this channel is Wrath of the Witch King only, because this channel is to teach newbies how to start with WoW modding. So if you want to learn new stuff and you haven't done anything similar before, you definitely should start on Wrath of the Witch King. You don't have to, but I definitely can recommend it. Wrath of the Witch King is also finished expansion. When it comes to Legion, new patches are still coming out. Files are changing, file structures are changing, which means that even those few tools we already have for Legion need to be updated with every patch. Every patch can render them obsolete, and that's a little bit problem. The same comes to server. The server emulator is still being developed. Wrath of the Witch King is already closed, finished expansion, which is quite a big advantage. Yes, you can modify Warlords of Draenor, for example, but it's still quite unstable when it comes to Trinity Core. Why would you still prefer Cataclysm or newer expansion? Cataclysm is terrible, but you know, in general expansions after Wrath of the Witch King. Well, character models in Draenor and Legion are just awesome. Some people don't like it. I love them personally. Garrison system might be quite good for you. Base-like zones, again, might be quite good. You might like battlegrounds, you might like new arenas or new versions of Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, whatever. There are many new spell effects, particle effects. There are many. There is new talent system and so on. So if you like those more than in Wrath of the Witch King, it's probably better for you to stick to newer expansions. There are some features like texture fading effects and more, which are only in newer expansions which don't exist in Wrath of the Witch King. They aren't supported there, which means that you can retroport a lot of content into Wrath of the Lich King, most of models and so on, but some of them might not look as good in Wrath of the Lich King as they look in their original expansion. If you are on new expansion, you don't need to retroport stuff. You don't need to import newer stuff into your expansion, which saves you a lot of work and makes data you need to send to your players if we have public server. The amount of the data is quite lower, significantly lower. It's also a new game. If you are modding Draenor or Legion or something like that, it's a new game. Players haven't spent hundreds of hours or even days on that already. Wrath of the Lich King is a very old game and we have played a lot of it. So if you want to make some sort of server which uses a lot of Blizzwide content, newer expansions might be a good pick for you. However, if you tend to use only your custom, your own content, uh, you might still consider using Wrath of the Lich King as it might be better for you in general. A few notes. Uh, First of all, I can be wrong with anything I say here, and I don't know everything. So feel free to leave comments, feel free to leave any kind of feedback. I will only appreciate it if you say something I, for example, forget, or if you correct some mistakes I make. As I have said, I am Rough Lich King guy only and I intend to stay there. It's quite unlikely that I will move to, let's say, Warlords of Draenor in future. As long as there will be only one map editor which is Nugget, and as long as Nugget supports only Wrath of the Lich King, I will stay on Wrath of the Lich King. As simple as that. I don't support any illegal private servers. If you have a private server, I can help you, but I can't officially support you. Uh, so everything I am describing here is for theory only, for educational purposes only. So it kind of falls under fair use policy. As I have said, everything done on this channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm looking with you to help you with anything you can't achieve on your own. However, please try to find answers for your questions on Google first, or on forums I will give you links to first. There are many tutorials, there are many great tutorials which are answering a lot of commonly asked questions. There are FAQs. Please browse them before spamming me. Uh, I've got multiple contacts. I will provide multiple contacts, and I will also provide my Skype here. But please try to not spam me with chit chat or with unrelated stuff, and try to ask only relevant questions. So WoW modding related sites, there are 3 sites where you can find me. There's WoWDevWiki. I'm one of contributors, not one of main contributors, but I'm still contributing there, and it's really a great source for all kinds of knowledge, especially about DBC files. Then there is MCNet and Modcraft. Those are 2 forums where you can find me. There are another sites, ONetCore and ACWeb. Those are great forums, but I don't really have an account there. ONetCore is general modding forum. ACWeb is quite a core focused forum. Contacts on me, here is contact on MCNet, on Modcraft, and you can also PM me on YouTube, or you can use my Skype in urgent matters which can't wait. And please don't spam my Skype too much, or I can just block you. Sorry about that, but that's how it is. I'm quite a busy guy sometimes, and sometimes spam is just too real for me. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, and happy modding, guys.